The Power of the Coochie. I believe it was Jay-Z that wrote the song, The Power of the Pussy. We know the rest of the words. If you're an 80s baby like I am, you understand that. But the point I want to bring is that the cooch at a certain point becomes for pleasure and leisure. I'm using it interchangeably, and for leverage, as far as the woman's concerned. She's using it for her pleasure and for leverage. That's what the coochie is to the modern day women. The coochie that she has is to her for her enjoyment, for pleasure, and for leverage. We could talk about men and their parts and their men and their role as to what they do in life. But because the men's channel, I want to put men up on game. I'm talking about what a coochie is to a woman after a certain point. See, when a woman exercises discipline and says, look, my virginity is so important to me, or I've been with my boyfriend, we broke up and it didn't work out, but I'm not gonna go out there in the streets and lay down with just anybody. I'm not gonna do that because my coochie, my honor, my integrity is important to me. So it means she honors her future man, and that's a wife oriented person. Okay, so let's say she's a virgin, she protects her virginity. There's a lot of guys trying to get with her, and she rejects the advances, and she rejects them because she understands that that's valuable to her. Because to a man, at some point, this f boys, they just want to get get the drawers. That's it, and they be moving on. It's not that important, so not deep. It's just another person. But to her, she don't want to add more bodies to her. Okay, that's the individual that's rare in this society. That's the individual that you are as a man. You want to aspire to find, because even if she's been with, let's say, two guys, and things did not work out, and she's not leading with this whole I'm gonna go out there and just kill it and just give it up to everybody else now because my heart been broken out two times, so I'm not gonna try to control myself anymore. She's not doing that. She's saying, hey, I'm gonna keep myself to myself for my honor in the absence of men, and not just jumping into the next and the next and the next. So that individual is the one that's rare. That individual that says, hey, and that's the one that's really, if we think about the terms that a lot of ladies be using, healing journey, finding myself, that's what those terms would apply to. But a lot of ladies don't do that. And the latter, the lot of ladies, what they do though, now after they've been through several men, the coochie is now for enjoyment, for leisure, and for leverage. So she finds a man she feels like his husband material. It's leverage, control mechanisms, manipulation, tactics. It's combat, it's war out there. And men are not even privy to this information. Or if they know, they just weak to it because they have not received this type of attention, aka love bombing. So to her now, especially if she's a looker, she gonna leverage it, and those two parts will still remain. There's two components: the duality of enjoyment and leverage. See, because once a woman gets past the initial, I value myself, I honor my body, and she sees no more value, and that's another part. A lot of ladies do not see value because if they saw value, you would not have as many OnlyFans or Instagram people shaking their ass, coochie popping out. They would not do that if they value themselves. So now, once they get past the point where they desire to honor themselves, it's now like, okay, how do I monetize this thing? How do I leverage this thing? How do I make the most? So what she's going to do now is that she has now discovered that she needs to be done. She needs to be penetrated. And if it's been done by many different kinds of people, that's the type of flavor, that's the type of time she's on now. It means that she desires variety, like the kind of person who's used to having a buffet. She gotta have, you know, a presentation of multiple offerings. But that doesn't mean that she also understands that security is needed and she's going to secure it through this means as well. They're very Coochie. So it's for those two purposes. It's for leisure, pleasure, or enjoyment, and for leverage. And there's going to be some sucker out there who's thirsty and she's going to get in a relationship with him on a permanent basis, but she's still going to seek out enjoyment. And that's the problem with modern day dating. Because it's what it means is that there is a permanent addiction to that, to that, to the dual things I just told you about. There's a permanent addiction to the fact that she now desires to be tickled every week. Some people it's more often than that. She now desires that. That's just part of the course. And then she also desires permanency. So that's where the leverage comes in. She needs to leverage some man. And some man would be like, yeah, I still love her. Yeah, she cheated. Yeah, she went back to her baby daddy. Yeah, I'm cool, but she still love me. And she gonna use the love language. She knows how to talk to you. So that means on the side of women, it's not a default. It's like a machine. It's like being a farmer. I'm gonna use a farming terminology. It's like a tractor that sometimes when I go to take it out, I find it's not there. It's in the neighbor's yard, doing work on the neighbor's yard. I'm like, why is it in the neighbor's farm? It's supposed to be here. And then you get it back. You're like, oh, I suppose it's still my tractor. Yeah, sure. So that's the part where modern day women, you cannot really. It's insufferable for men because one of the things that you desire as a man is loyalty. You know, because it don't matter how much she says I love you, text you I love you, whatever she's gonna say, call you king, whatever. But if she ain't loyalty and respect, if they're not there, you got nothing. But the part, how lady parts, unfortunately, these days, once she's gone past the whole I honor myself and I can only be with a man. He's my husband. If she has that in her heart, that fear of the Most High, then she's a good woman. I can't just lay out with anybody. I can't just be outside like that. She could be single for 2 years and hasn't been touched by anybody. But modern day women, it's not the case. She's gonna be like, cool. I'm single. I've been single for 5 years, but she's laying up with somebody on a weekly basis. She desires that pleasure. She needs to be pleasured. And then she's gonna use the same coochie for the leverage. And some man is gonna get stuck like a fly in a spider web. He gonna just get stuck in there, and she gonna use him for his protection, his provision, his resources. And she's not gonna stop the desire to be tickled. And oftentimes he's not the same person. He's the security component, the leverage, the security, and it's gonna be the pleasure raw, the man outside that situation that's pleasuring. And that's why it's kind of dangerous to be seeking out women. So, but if a woman is moving without honor, she could have been one or two guys doing relationships. Not the type of girl who was out in the parties getting her back blown out. No. I say enough. Peace, love, and blessings.